We have a solar eclipse coming up on June 21st. It's called the Ring of Fire, and it's supposed to be very, very intense. And it has a lot to do with chaos preceding change. And I think a lot of people are really experiencing the chaos and the change simultaneously. So, my first question to the Arcturians would be, where do we find the balance?
Well, the balance would need to be found within the core of each human being. That is where that balance is. And holding that balance as you see something outside of you going through a great change, such as an eclipse. We, the Arcturians, would like to share that during this particular eclipse, we, the galactic beings, would like to and will join with Earth in a way that we don't normally do. We, the galactics, we are able to perceive Earth, and we have our ships, our starships, that some people have seen, but not a lot, because even if they see it, it's too hard to believe that it's real, so they forget that they saw it. And memory has a lot to do with if one can connect it with themselves. So if they cannot connect with themselves, the concept that things like eclipses can have an effect on an entire planet. And the reason why there is this effect is that the planet is one. It's one planet. And on that one planet, there are many, many, many people. And Gaia's goal, Gaia, the living being that is the planet, Gaia's goal is to assist people to come into that oneness with each other. Now, we know from observing humanity that that's a pretty tall order. But if one can begin with their family or their neighborhood or people that they are close to, then they can remember how nice it feels to feel like, I can call this person, I can talk to this person. Just like I can go outside and I can look at the moon. I can go outside, I can feel the sun. And it is that awareness that there are choices that humans don't realize they can make. They can make the choice to go out to see an eclipse. Now, it's a solar eclipse, so they may or may not be able to see it, but the energy field is there. They can go out and see if they can attune with that energy field. And now, giving the time would not be too helpful because people from all over the world will be looking at this, and so that time won't mean anything. And so you'll have to find that time inside yourself. That sometime inside yourself, just know, okay, there is an eclipse that is occurring. And Danny, would you like to discuss a bit about exactly what an eclipse is for people that aren't, really knowing exactly what eclipse means?
Yes. So, what is going to be occurring this weekend with this Ring of Fire solar eclipse is that the moon will be covering about 99% of the sun. And so, from a physical appearance, it will look like a ring of fire for a couple of minutes in the sky. But beyond the physical, what is occurring with these eclipse energies. And again, these are powerful energies that stick around long after and also a little bit before the eclipse itself actually occurs. And what is happening is that the changes that, I mean, we already are in amidst of quite a bit of change, the chaos and the change amp up quite a bit, not only personally, but also collectively as well. So there is a new surge of energy that is being hoisted in to the conscious collective on Gaia. You're going to experience these energies differently because we are all different. So how you take in the energies, because they're there, they're present right now in this very now moment. So whether you're watching this before the eclipse, on the day of the eclipse, after the eclipse, this is still prevalent to keep in mind and to be aware of. So my question to the Arcturians would be, how can people be a little bit more aware of, okay, where am I feeling these energies and what can I do with these energies?
Everybody has different places on their body that are more sensitive than other places on their body. And most people are pretty aware of it. Like Suzanne, it's her stomach. Her stomach is very one. That's the part of her body that talks to her. Yes, you can do that. No, don't. No, don't do that. You'll be sorry. Right. And so sometimes people listen to that and listen to their bodies, and sometimes they don't listen to their bodies. And if they don't listen to their bodies, sometimes the consequences aren't exactly what they wanted. And it's the same thing with this eclipse. With an eclipse, there is an enhanced energy field. And you may or may not be able to see it. And it is not a good idea to go up and stare right up at the sun. Now, the energy field is one of wake up. Wake up and see. Wake up and see the light that is out there. Wake up and feel the light that is inside you. And how is your inside light flowing out into your reality? And how is your outside light flowing into your physical body? So Danny, would you like to address that a bit as well?
I think this really sums it up to that it's a multidimensional experience. And so with that being said, we can't discount our physical bodies from the energies. They're still being affected. And I love the point that you made about how our body speaks to us all the time. And I believe sometimes when it comes to these energetic events or energetic experiences, we put so much of our focus and our attention up on, ooh, what am I experiencing visually, in my mind? And we forget that, oh no, our whole entire being is included in this, energetically and physically. So it's not about getting out of our bodies to experience something new. It's about being present and being aware of how these energies are affecting us multidimensionally. And speaking of multidimensional aspects to ourselves, that's actually my next question to the Arcturians. How can we start to integrate our experiences here on the third, fourth dimension of Gaia and see how this translates to our fifth dimensional expressions and higher? What are these energies doing multidimensionally to our beings?
These energies are energies of change, energies of shifting. That which was one way is shifting into another way. And it's something that is important for daily life. You want to be able to allow yourself to be flexible. Because if one is not flexible, then life can be very difficult because things happen, and you may not want those things to happen. You may want that thing to happen, and you want to be there, and maybe you couldn't be there to perceive that thing happening. And that will happen a lot during this solar eclipse. Everybody would really like to see that, but some people in some places will not be able to see that. But if they go into a meditation and allow themselves to feel how their energy is right then as they go into the meditation. So it is during that time that you go into a meditation and allow yourself to accept that the sun, your light, your life, your ability to perceive, to grow, to change, is coming to the forefront. And this is a good now for you to look at your life, and not with any kind of condemnation or any kind of anger or sorrow, but just to try to keep the emotions out of it for this now. Just have it not be about your emotions. Have it be about your body, because it's a solar eclipse. This is like, without the sun, there wouldn't be an Earth. It's the thing that feeds Earth. It's an important component of Earth. So look at what is feeding you. What are the important components of your life?
I like that emphasis on not dwelling in the anxiety or the fear, or, it's one thing to be conscious of emotions and those feelings coming up so that they can be released, but it's another thing to dwell on them and to make the entire energetic experience about that specifically, because it's so much bigger than that. And so when we can open up our perspectives to the bigger picture, not just for ourselves, but as a whole, then we can see that, yes, there is that releasing component that is happening with our emotions and our thoughts, but there's a whole other corner of the picture frame that we need to look at as well.
And what is that corner of the picture frame?
That we are more than our emotions and our thoughts. That is not our identity. We are multi-dimensional beings. We came here on a mission. We came here for a purpose. Nothing is an accident. And so when we can keep that at the forefront of our minds, no matter what we're experiencing, no matter what we're going through, that changes the perspective on what we're experiencing.
Yes, and you can even allow yourself to imagine, and to a large extent, imagination is fifth-dimensional thought, where it's okay to move around and think, this is what I would like to experience, this is who I would like to be, this is what I would enjoy doing. Bring up your desires about your life and about what you would like to do for yourself, for your family, for others, and of course for your planet, Gaia. And right now, with this eclipse, there's a lot of attention to be given to the entire planet, because sometimes people don't realize how much they want or enjoy something until it seems to go away. And then when it goes away, it's like, well, wait a second. No, I don't want you to go away. I want you to be here. And so the sun is your light. The sun represents your own inner light. And without the sun, the planet would die. The planet must have the sun. And the sun is what awakens. When you awaken, what do you see? When you awake in the morning, You see the sun. And when you know it's time to go to bed, what happens? You don't see the sun. And so the sun is something that is saying, where are you now in your life? Where are you now? What are you doing? What are you feeling? What are you knowing, and what would you like to find out?
I think that is so important because that brings our perspective to the now, to being present. And if we're in our minds of what has happened in the past or what's going to happen, we lose the perspective of, wait a minute, where are we right now, physically, energetically, as a whole? And keeping that perspective of the now outside of the what could be or what already has been is a challenge. And maybe you, the Arcturians, could speak on that challenge of being present while still being aware.
Well, we're going to begin by talking a little bit about our starships and how our starships travel around the Earth. And we travel in a manner that cannot be noted by the humans. And as we travel around the Earth, we perceive the many beings that have remembered us. And we have found that more and more humanity is beginning to realize that there is something bigger. There's something bigger than just their life or their place or their job or even their family. Because their family, they want their family to be happy. They want to enjoy their job. They want to enjoy their life. And in order to do that, it takes an awareness of finding your own inner light, that place inside of yourself that monitors you, that place inside of yourself that says, did you really want to have that thought? How do you feel when you have that thought? No, did you want to perhaps change that thought? And emotions. Is that the emotion? Do you want to be the victim of your emotions? Or do you want to be the translator of your emotions? So when you have an emotion, it's like, oh, that's an emotion of fear. Wow, what am I afraid of? I didn't realize that I was having fear, but when I really tuned in, I could feel that fear, and oh, that's what I'm afraid of. Well, but I don't really need to be afraid of that. And I got afraid because I tried to bury it. But when I bring it right out into the sunlight, I don't really have to be afraid.
You know, this reminds me of what you were saying in our previous video of how together our light will outshine the sun. Being able to get to the root, to the core of the emotions or the thoughts that are coming up, to see it for what it really is, bringing the light into the darkness. And that's a choice, and that's something that we're all capable of, but we have to embrace the fact that we have light to give in the first place.
Yes, and remembering that the sun is moving, the planet is moving, the humans are moving, everything is moving. And the humans, they will walk through the sun and they'll enjoy the sun, and then they'll go, oh, the sun's too hot for, oh boy, that got hot all at once. So I'm going to go into the shade and I'm going to relax, or I'm going to go into the water. And so that I can feel that sudden shift of being hot and then jumping into the cool water. Wow, what a change, what a shift. My body just made that immense shift. And then you realize, yes, my body can make these shifts. Humanity is always changing. Humans are changing. Your thoughts are changing. The things that you enjoy change. Because planet Earth moves around. It's not just a ball that is static. It's always moving. And if you were to be able to see what is beyond the atmosphere of Gaia, you would be able to see a whole bunch of different things. And you would be able to see the many starships that are moving around the Earth and protecting and learning and assisting humans to remember why did they choose to take a human Earth vessel within this now.